Hi, my name is Chris. I'm a holistic living and stress coach, and today I want to talk to you about stress. And I want to talk about it in a way that you're probably not used to hearing about. If I was to ask you a question now, like how stressed are you? Chances are 90% of you watching me right now will say, yes, I am stressed. I'm so stressed. When you answer that way, you're probably looking at it from a very negative point of view. You're thinking about how bad stress is for you, how negative stress is for you, how unhealthy stress is for you. The truth is, stress is not all that bad. In fact, stress is not bad at all. But for you to understand how stress is not bad for you, I mean, the key word here is understand. For you to be able to know how stress isn't bad for you, it's important for you to understand what stress is. What is stress? This stress that we keep talking about all the time. What is stress? Now, stress is the emotional and physical response of your body to stimuli, right? It could be external, it could be internal. But your response to stimuli is what stress is. Most times it's an uncomfortable response. Most times it's a response that is filled with tension and anxiety. And I think that is why a lot of people consider it as bad, consider it as unhealthy. In reality, stress is a defense mechanism. Stress is your body's way of telling you to either run or stay and fight. Yeah, defense mechanism. So stress protects you, okay? Now, there are 4 types of stress. Since we want to understand what stress is, there are 4 types of stress. There's the encounter stress. Encounter stress is that stress that comes up when you get to meet new people, when you have to interact with new people. And then there is the anticipatory stress. Anticipatory stress is the stress that comes when you have to consider what tomorrow brings. When you're thinking about the future, when you're thinking about the unknown, all right? So that triggers your anticipatory stress. Now, there is also situational stress. Situational stress is the type of stress that is brought on by events, brought on by events. You can have, maybe you have a project, all right, and then you have to defend that project in front of someone. Now, that can be situational stress. You have to go for a meeting, right, and you are at the meeting and you're wondering, what am I going to say? That is situational stress. You're thinking about the event, which is the meeting itself. Then the 4th type of stress is the time stress. Now, a lot of people living in busy cities like Lagos would understand this. Time stress, when you're running out of time. When you think you do not have enough time to handle a particular project that you're supposed to be on. Now, that is time stress. Now, these are 4 types of stress. And I've tried to give you examples of these types of stress. Now, based on the 4 types of stress, you can see that at every point in time, we experience not 1, not 2, but sometimes 3 at once of these types of stress. So what do you do when these happen? Do you then demonize stress, which a lot of us do already, or do you then seek to understand why you're feeling the way you are feeling? Right? And I think that's very, very important. You have to understand that stress is a normal occurrence of life. Stress is part of life. Stress is your lifestyle, whether you want to admit it or not. You talk about the situational stress. Every day we encounter new people, which is the encounter stress. We encounter new people, we meet new people every day. You have to deal with events in your life every day. It could be as simple as going into the kitchen and trying to whip up something for your family to eat. That is an event, and that in itself conjures up stress for you. Then you're talking about time stress. You're stuck in traffic. You're stuck in traffic, and then you're seeing the hours roll by and you're yet to be at that meeting that you're supposed to be, all right? That is time stress. So we all experience this. Now, it's very, very important for you to understand that stress is there to help you. So when you're feeling this way, when you are now under stress, what do you then do? Do you just accept it for what it is? Or do you try to understand it better and try to make the most of it? Again, I talked about understanding stress, which is the very, very important thing. Understand where it comes from. Understand why it exists. Now, there are 2 major hormones, right, that can be associated with stress. You have cortisol, and then you have oxytocin. Now, oxytocin is a feel-good hormone, all right? And we're going to talk about this in another episode. Cortisol is the one that is more commonly associated with stress. Cortisol is the hormone that basically gives you that high, you know, that feeling of wanting to run away or wanting to just face this challenge. And that's what stress is all about. Stress creates challenges for you that you need to overcome. For a lot of people, overcoming stress is what actually brings them into themselves. You get what I mean? So you have to learn to take stress, not just at face value, but you have to learn to understand stress for what it is and learn how you can use this stress in your life to get what you want. Again, as I said in another episode, I'm going to be talking about stress in a different light, you know, maybe more explanatory so that it sinks in more. So this is it for today. My name is Chris and I hope you learned something.